Hello Patreon subscribers and new listeners, this is Feed Your Mind. Today's video is about how the lunar and solar eclipse is not what you were told. And so we'll begin this discussion with how big the sun is compared to how big the moon is. You see, the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon. They say the sun has a radius of about 432,000 miles versus the moon's radius of about 1,000 miles. So how could something as small as the moon compared to the sun ever totally block out the sun's light? Well, of course it would have to be because the sun is also 400 times farther away than the moon.
The sun is about 400 times larger than the moon, but the sun is about 400 times further away than the moon. So as a result, they're just about the same size in the sky. And so we have the very happy coincidence that the moon just covers the sun perfectly so that we can see the sun's outer atmosphere, its corona.
How convenient is that? And so scientists say the heliocentrism model was created by a Big Bang explosion. What type of Big Bang explosion can create such a perfect coincidence so that the sun is just the right amount of distance from the moon for there to be a total eclipse? And not only that, there's going to be about 14 more total solar eclipses in the next 100 years. So it's one thing for something like that to happen once in a lifetime, but this is not something that has never happened before. They can predict these things, and it happens often. And when I say often, I'm saying that relative to it being a complete accident. For something like this to happen once would be one thing in a Big Bang explosion, but for it to have happened many times over the centuries and for it to be occurring at least 14 times within a 100 years span doesn't seem like much of an accident to me at all. So at the very least, this proves intelligent design versus a random Big Bang explosion accident for something like this to ever happen. And I also want to add, how do they actually know the exact radius of the sun and the moon? I mean, I suppose they have their methods of calculations, but they just know right down to the precise radius of the sun. They say the sun is 432,288 miles precisely, and the moon is 1,079 miles in radius. So let's continue on with our discussion. And so what's really happening here with these total solar eclipses is that the sky operates like a clock. You see, the sun is like the minute hand and the moon is like the hour hand, if you will. There's nothing random at all. You see, we keep track of time by the sun and the moon. It's like clockwork. There's been no discrepancy since mankind has been keeping track of time. They even say sundials and stuff are actually precise right down to this day. It doesn't matter when these sundials were created. They're still perfect in keeping track of time according to how the sun operates above us. And the word month is actually named after the moon because the moon keeps track of the months, which again proves intelligent design at the very least. And so what science has been telling the world about heliocentrism goes back to sun worship and paganism because they worship the sun. If you don't believe me, check out my elements video where I prove to you how science has a hidden agenda. They actually name the planets and the elements after pagan gods and Greek mythology. They're into this sun worshiping cult, and they disguise it in the names that they name planets and elements. Names like Mercury and Pluto and helium is all named after paganism. So these scientists aren't actually as agnostic and atheist as they like to portray themselves. The Copernicus solar system model is a form of sun worship, and the total solar eclipse makes more sense on a flat earth model because on a flat earth model, the sun and the moon can be the same size. And so it wouldn't take much for there to be a solar eclipse if you have a sun that's the same size as the moon, and every once in a while, they block each other. It's not as far of a stretch as saying, oh, the sun just happens to be 400 times farther away and 400 times bigger just by some type of accident. No, it makes more sense on a geocentric flat earth model where the sun and the moon are the same size, and they overlap sometimes, which causes a total solar eclipse, which doesn't take as much of a stretch of the imagination to describe as the heliocentric version of what a total solar eclipse is. And one thing I'd like to add in this discussion is, are we even 100% sure that that's the moon that's causing this solar eclipse? Could there be another mysterious celestial object in the sky that we're not aware of?
And so let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section. I plan on making a video about this alleged dark object in the sky. Make sure you click your notification bell so you don't miss it. And before we get out of here, I would like to add that some ancient civilizations actually had rituals that had to do with the lunar and the solar eclipse. According to my research, they were able to control entire populations using the knowledge of the eclipse and knowing when they would arrive, and the public wasn't sure what happened to the sun. And so it would appear like these leaders had all this power to cause the sky to go dark and for the sun to come back. So they were able to more easily control the population using this information. There was also apparently rituals and sacrifices that took place around these times. And also some civilizations saw the eclipse as a warning. Check out my Proof the Moon is Not What You Were Told playlist, where we dig deep into several topics about the moon. I'll leave a link for it in the comment section and the description box. Simply enter your email address at feedyourmind1.com.
That way I can send you some cool news briefs throughout the week.
It's completely free.
I'm giving away a free collectible for my Feed Your Mind pop-up shop. To enter, like the video, subscribe to the channel,
leave a comment about the video, and include your favorite flat earth proof. If you could please chip in $1, you could help me get to a point where I can put out much more videos. Plus, I'll link you up with some free videos before they even come out. Much more information at patreon.com/feedyourmind.
Please click your notification bell. This has been another episode of Feed Your Mind. Thank you for tuning in. Signing off.